Hi everyone. So the video for today is really just going to explain to you what you're doing for lesson 5. If we were in school, lesson 5 is an activity that you would have just really been doing independently, where Ms. Harsh and I would have just kind of walked around and checked in with you to see how you were doing and then ultimately given you the answers at the end. So I'm not going to really walk you through the whole thing. I just want to explain what you're doing. So the purpose of this lesson is to compare linear versus exponential growth. So what we're going to ask you to do is examine these two scenarios. So let's say you were given two options and you had to decide which one would give you the greatest amount of money. So let's say there were two prizes being awarded. Model 1, the prize is a $10 award, and then every week you get $5 more, and it's going to continue for 20 weeks. So you start out with $10, increasing by $5 a week for 20 weeks. Model 2, the prize starts at 1 penny, so a cent, and then it's going to double. So, the next week you would have 2 cents and then 4 cents, and it's going to double for also 20 weeks. So the first thing I want you to do is just make a prediction. Which one, just by reading that, just by hearing me explain that, which one do you think Annie should choose, or which one would you choose, and explain your reasoning. Okay, so this is without giving it a ton of thought. Just 20 weeks, both examples, which prize would you choose or tell someone to choose. Then what you're going to do is complete this chart. So we told you what Model 1 and Model 2 are doing. So week 0 would be how much you start with. So again, Model 1 is starting with $10, and Model 2 is starting with a penny. So as the weeks increase, you'll see they're going from 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 5. What would you get each week? So we said if the first one is increasing by $5, the amount of money you would have after a week would be 15. The amount of money you would have here after a week would be 2 cents. Okay, and then you would continue that. Number 3, we're going to ask you to create an equation, and that equation is going to model each of these scenarios. So we're talking about linear versus exponential. We've worked with both of these functions before. We want you to create equations that could model each prize scenario using one of those two functions. Then what we want you to do, you have these functions now that you're going to write out. We want you to continue for the full 20 weeks. So you could, one of two options. You could continue just by filling in the table, by thinking about the scenario. One is doubling, one is adding $5 a week. Or you have equations now above number 4 in your Model 1 and 2 equations. You could use them and use your calculator. Then number 5, we want you to determine after how many weeks will Model 2 give you more money than Model 1. And then let's say we increased this situation to go out to 25 weeks. How much money would you have for each model? So how much would Model 1 have after 25 weeks, and how much would Model 2 have after 25 weeks? Okay, so you're just going to work through this activity, seeing the difference between linear versus exponential. The answer key is going to be posted on Canvas. And there is a homework 11.5 that you are going to complete in your homework packet. So you're going to work through this, you're going to check your answer at the end of the day, and then you're going to do the homework and submit that also by the end of the day. And all submissions are due at 2:30. I hope everyone is doing